spring practice is still underway, so I would assume this weekend we'll have some visitors in town.
Oh yeah, so big visitor weekend this weekend, and then of course for the blue gold game next weekend. It's Darren, did spring ball just start? We're already talking about the blue gold game right around the corner, how quickly it goes. I have 4 prospects that are visiting Notre Dame this week that I wanted to talk about. One this weekend. This is a huge visit. We had this scoop first over at Blue and Golden on 3. Madden Farimo from Southern California, an elite. Okay, Darren. So an elite linebacker from Southern California who has USC, Ohio State, and Notre Dame high on his list. That is Kingston Viliamuasa from last year. And then you have Madden Farimo, very similar schools, background, like all that kind of stuff as a powerful, highly ranked inside linebacker. So I'm sure when Farimo visits, the staff will have him linking up with Kingston. Really important trip here. The Fighting Irish had him on campus. It was either last spring or last summer. Let's take a quick, last June on the 10th of 2023. So it's been a while without him visiting campus. But yeah, him making it out is a fairly big deal to the coaching staff. He is, I think, like people want to talk about Jeremiah Usu-Kwarmo's younger brother, Nathaniel Usu Boateng, huge target for the Fighting Irish. Don't get me wrong. I think Madden Farimo might be arguably like top 1 or 2 overall target on the board for the Irish. Not that they, sit around and make a list that's, regardless of position, but just to kind of get my point across that like Fremo is a huge recruit for the Irish. So looking for him to officially visit Notre Dame this summer as well. Don't believe that's been set up, but it is big news. Him getting to Notre Dame. He also is going to visit Ohio State during this Midwest swing from California, but getting to Notre Dame, certainly big. Another one visiting this weekend, Tristan Haynes from Oklahoma is a cornerback, 6'2", 260 pounds, 4-star player, considered an Oklahoma lean. Watch out for the Irish in this one, though. Visiting Notre Dame this weekend. We also reported at Blue and Gold this week. He's already set his official visit for June to get to South Bend. So this will be his first trip to Notre Dame. Already got the return visit locked in. That goes to show how good of a job that Mike Mickens, Dre Brown, and the staff has done just building a relationship with him that he hasn't even stepped foot at Notre Dame, doesn't even know if he likes it, but he's already booking that return visits. So I think I think Irish fans need to get familiar with the name Tristan Haynes. Safety recruiting is in a really good spot. We talked about that. I think corner recruiting is fairly similar. They got a really good one in Creed Thomas. I like where they are at with Mark Zachary, and then they got a few more on the board. They're just highly just talented prospects. He gets a couple of those guys. It's just it's like icing on the cake. And then a couple more. Kadon Finley from Alito, Texas, actually visited campus on Tuesday for practice. A top 100 overall player. We've just been talking about 2025 so far in this video, Darren. In an interview, Finley's a prospect in the 2026 class, 6'2", 195 pounds, top 100 player across the board. Finley, pot of gold offer for the Irish last month. Definitely a notable visit. And then another pot of gold offer for the Irish in March was out to Darius Gray from Richmond, Virginia, St. Christopher's School, another top 100 prospect, beefy interior offensive lineman at 6'3", 285 pounds, South Carolina, Penn State, North Carolina, and Virginia, a few of his other offers. So Gray picking up his offer last month, visiting Notre Dame, I believe Wednesday or Thursday. I want to say it's a midweek trip, but Darius Gray is visiting Notre Dame this week. So that's just 4 of the names visiting Notre Dame this week, and there's certainly a handful of others, and we'll have all of that reporting this week at blueandgold.com.
Final question for you. You get a lot of bizarre questions
especially from you, Darren.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I know you frown at me sometimes. So I hope this isn't a really crazy question, and I'm not looking for a War and Peace answer. But Notre Dame fan base is so excited right now. Marcus Freeman, the coordinators are as good as Notre Dame has had at the same time in a long, long time. Marcus Freeman, the staff, are hitting home runs left and right in recruiting. Is there anything in recruiting that's concerning right now, or is everything just like a machine and everything's just going extremely well? Because it just seems like, from someone who's an observer and listens to you, that there aren't many warts right now. There's not a whole lot to be biting your fingernails over. Is that Fair to say?
Okay. All right. I mean, let's just go through the class. I mean, I'm just going to pull it up and you guys can just go inside the mind of Mike Singer. It's a very scary place. Obviously, quarterback. You feel great about Deuce Knight, Elite 11 finalist. 3 years in a row, Notre Dame
Of
quarterback
course.
at Elite 11. Of course, that includes Kenny Minchie when he's committed to Pitt, but we'll include him. I love where Notre Dame's at with safety, offensive tackle. You got Will Black, 5-star. You got Owen Big and Matty Augustine, tight end, really darn good one, and James Flanagan. Linebacker, I don't think you have the sexiest names, but Anthony Sacca is a huge get for the Irish. They absolutely love him. Running back is pretty good. Justin Thurman and Daniel Anderson, a couple of really solid running backs for the Irish. Not, the top 100, Jeremiah Love, Chris Tyree type, front cover, blue and gold illustrated kind of guys, but still really solid upside players for the Irish. I love the defensive backboard in terms of what they have committed and who they may be able to get. Same with receiver. I like Sean Terry, Elijah Burst, and Jerome Bettis Jr. And I still think they can they go get Tanu Kynes? Can they go get Derek Meadows? Maybe a couple other guys. So I like where their Irish are at there. Yeah, linebacker I talked about. The one that Notre Dame fans have the most concern about right now is the defensive line. Davion Dixon, a prospect who committed to Notre Dame last April. And has just picked up Georgia offers and other SEC schools since committing to the Irish. I think that's a really nice get for the Irish. Just an interior kind of nose guy all the way. Joseph Reif, not really creating a ton of headlines. 6'5", 250 pounds from Chicagoland, but Notre Dame saw him camp last year. They absolutely loved him. Marcus Freeman. I was told Freeman looked at the staff and was like, "Why the heck are we not offering this kid?" They did, and then got Reef committed a few months later. But
Okay.
you got two really good ones there in Chicago. Another Chicagoland player, Chris Burgess, picked Notre Dame with over Ohio State, Michigan, and Bama. I mean, he's a highly ranked 4-star prospect, high upside player. So I think you got 3 really good defensive linemen there. Now, do they take a 4th or they take a 5th? That's kind of to be determined. I'm told that things are in flux on the D-line board in terms of where kind of Notre Dame wants to go next. Javion Campbell, Darren Ekinebon, a couple names in Notre Dame still recruiting. Campbell's on campus this weekend too, from what we've been told. But it's still a solid group. It's a really good class for Notre Dame. I think this is going to be top 10. Again, I think last year's ended up finishing they slid right on the second signing day. They slid to 11, but it looks like it's going to be 4 straight classes, at least inside the top 11. So continues to set a bar at Notre Dame in the internet recruiting era, Darren, that we just have not seen. I'm talking 2000 on. We have not seen Notre Dame recruit at this level in terms of recruiting rankings, which is just a fine kind of blanket way to look at recruiting. If you want to look at recruiting rankings, that's fine. And Notre Dame's been doing it as good as they have in the past 25 years. So yeah, it's another really solid class for the Irish, especially you look at the key positions, Darren. Quarterback, check.
Yep.
Who's protecting him? Will Black, Owen Strebig, check. Just got to land some of these top guys that are still left. A Madden Fremo, a Derek Meadows, a Jadon Blair. Can you build on this really solid, nice class and land the top of the board guys? That is the big question really moving forward. But yeah, defensive line, pretty good. But really interested to see the development of Chris Burgess in his senior year and then where the D-line board goes moving forward.
Nice. All right. So my question was as good as the recruiting is. So I like that.
It was a very good question, Darren. Look, you got me rambling for a few minutes.
I loved it.
Not bad.
Fantastic. I was been kind of curious because everything just seems great. So is there anything under the current?
But the one thing, Darren, is we've been doing these conversations for 3-4 years or something. I've been covering Notre Dame. May 1st will be 5 years for me.
Wow.
This is kind of how it goes, right? early on, everything is amazing, and then, oh, summer recruiting update, or post-summer rankings update. Maybe a few guys slide down. Maybe you get a decommit. Other schools are getting a bunch of commitments. Notre Dame's not because they got all their commitments early. So the hype kind of dies down a little bit, but at the end of the day, Notre Dame's class is still right up there, and it's still darn good. I always have to tell my Notre Dame fans on my loose emoji message board, it doesn't matter when they commit. It just matters who commits. So if Notre Dame had all 25 of their guys commit in November and December, that would be really fun and exciting for the last couple months, and Notre Dame would be closing strong. But it doesn't really matter, Darren. It's about who you get. It doesn't matter about when you get them.